To all of the shy guys out there, how did you get a girlfriend? Was sitting in second day of bio class in college. Class had over 100 students in it. I like to get there early to reserve my seat. Was a very shy guy and my row was always empty except me, which I didn't mind at all. Anyways, I was sitting there and I look over at the far door to watch the students pile in. A girl, obviously on the tennis team, walks in. 10 out of 10. I look at her, she looks at me, I look away because I didn't want to be awkward. Next thing I know, she's right next to me and asks if the seat next to me is taken. It isn't. She sits down. I don't know what to do, but I have to do something. Look over and say, "I'm Bonaparte. What's your name?" And put my hand out. Immediately regret the decision because maybe a handshake is too formal. She awkwardly shakes it and gives me her name. I ask how long she's been playing tennis. She doesn't. She's on the golf team, not the tennis team. Feel like a dumbass, but keep trying. She asks a couple of questions about me. I had just got back from living in France for a couple of years. I'm half French. And tell her. She's impressed and asked me to say a couple things in French. More impressed. Class starts. She mentions how she'll need a study buddy to get through this. I catch on. Tell her we should make a study group. She's all for it. I get her number to set the group up. Class ends, we go our separate ways. Next day of bio, I get to class a little later than usual. Walk in, she's in her old spot. She saved my spot. I'm on cloud 9 and never miss a day of bio. We start studying together before exams, then we start studying together every day. I have a car, I take her out to eat every now and then. She invites me hiking a month later, just me and her. We go up the mountain to a spot that overlooks the city. She plays my favorite song by Blues Traveler. That's when I fall in love. Ask her out on the hike down. She says yes. First kiss. 2 years later, we're still together. Well, my last girlfriend was a friend I had a crush on. We were playing the dot game, which is where you try to tap the other person's nose and say dot. It leads to a lot of wrestling if you're playing on a couch. I had her pinned down, and we were both laughing. Then I just kissed her. Lucky for me, she was thinking, just kiss me already. Or else that would have been bad. If you're at the dot game stage, kissing is almost guaranteed. The moment I knew my last GF and I would end up together, we wrestled each other for a hat. We ruined the hat, but I won. I sat back down next to her and put it on her head, just a bit too forward-leaning as to cover her eyes. When she smiled was when I was thinking, fuck, this is a thing now. Unfortunately, didn't last long and went down in flames. No thanks to me, but I'll never forget that feeling for sure. Also, introverted me has been single since her. So this thread is like a godsend to me. After drinking 2 bottles of wine, I was talked, against my better judgment, into going to an event at a club with 2 friends. There I met a beautiful and smiley girl who one of them knew from elsewhere. During the sobering up period, I remembered I dislike people in clubs. So I retreated to the 24-hour cafe lounge place across the street and drank tea, where friends and accompanying beautiful smiley girl eventually joined me. She and I talked, and it was great. She wasn't difficult to talk to like everyone else. When we all went our separate ways, we hugged and agreed we should definitely see each other again. After that, we spoke on Facebook, but didn't see each other again for like 3 or 4 months, until she said she was coincidentally coming to meet friends near where I live, and that this would be a good opportunity to meet up. I later learned these friends were a ruse. We met at a pub and talked for ages about lots of our favorite things. I asked if she wanted to come stay at my house, and we've been together the 2 years since. We live together and she's asleep next to me right now, and is by far the best thing to ever happen to me. I'd never been with anyone before her and was beginning to give up hope. I like to imagine that after you invited her to your house after the pub, she literally stayed over for those 2 years and has yet to go home. Oh man. It was my first day in my math class. I saw this really pretty curly-haired girl. She caught my eye and I sat close to her. The teacher ended up being horrible, student teacher. So she would ask for help to explain stuff, and I would too after following her lead. Eventually, a group of us were confused enough we made a study group, and I still remember how happy I was when I got her number to make plans to study and look over the stuff the teacher didn't explain good enough. I ended up transferring out of the class because the teacher really was horrible, but we stayed in touch. One night she had a horrible pain and her roommate had plans elsewhere, so I took her to the hospital instead of studying. And we bonded on a whole other level. It was like I'd known her for years. Like she was instantly my new best friend. And then we just fell for each other after all the inside jokes and daily help we'd give each other. I know I got really lucky, but it made up for years of bad luck. It wasn't easy. We used to work together, and for 3 months I was asking people at work if the girl I was interested in was single. Asked 3 people and never got an answer. Asked my best friend who also worked there at the time, and he told me she didn't. Took me another month to ask her. My friend kept asking if I had asked her out yet. I had it all planned out. I had a vacation coming up. She worked the Monday night. I went up right before close and bought some shit I really didn't need but used it as an excuse. I stayed after and talked to my friend who helped me out. After a while, I started half-ass making conversation, acting like I was looking at the schedule even though it didn't matter to me since I wasn't working. I felt the lump in my throat growing and growing. I knew if I didn't ask, I probably never would. I felt like my nervousness was showing, and she was probably wondering what this weirdo was doing, just creeping around her. I finally got the balls to straight up ask her if she wanted to go to dinner. She looked kind of freaked out, and I immediately started to panic. Then she did with a smile. Yes, I couldn't believe it. But instead of keeping it inside, I said, "Really?" Still hate myself for that, but I never let her live down her answer. Why not? She didn't realize it at that time, but that night is quite possibly what saved me. That was 2 years ago, and we just got married this past May. Don't regret a single moment of it. Bonus: my friend didn't know that I asked her out that night. And she didn't know at the time, but I gave him a loud-ass high five on the way out. Told them both about it about a month after. When I was in high school, I was extremely shy. When I moved to a new town, I saw a girl in my homeroom who was very cute and interesting looking. I had a thing for alt girls at the time, still do. And she had purple hair and was super artsy. I basically stalked her by finding her live journal and reading every post she made. I learned a ton about her this way, as creepy as it sounds. I learned that she really liked books, so I started bringing in weird books on philosophy that I left out in plain view. So she started asking me about the books, and I would casually show interest in things that I knew she was super into. Obviously, we really hit it off and would talk on AIM every day. She eventually confessed that she had a crush on me, so I reciprocated, and we dated for around 4 months. First girl I had sex with, but that's another ridiculous story. Now, many years later, I met my wife at the gym by pretending to need fitness advice. So my answer is still the same. Deception. Hey, I'm the girlfriend of the shy guy. Dude was max level introverted. He was terrified and unsure and just going along with the flirts that I was sending his way, and that was the exact right thing to do. He put himself in a social situation, and I showed up to consume him. He had the social awareness to know when I was hitting on him, and just went along with it. I did most of the heavy lifting. Hey, you're cute. Let's talk for an hour about Warhammer 40,000. We should talk more about Space Marines at another place. Okay, yes, I am touching your chest, but my dude was excellent in being aware of my hit-ons and responding to them, despite the fear that was very obviously there. I like taking control. I find it really flattering when a guy is scared of me. My dude was terrified, like virgin terrified, and all the anxiety and self-defeating thoughts and everything was attractive to me. I took all that fear as a compliment and used it to drive my flirts until, oops, it is 5 years later, and he has met my grandparents. Everything flowed from that single point, and that point was accepting that this is happening. Let's just go with it. Shy guys, your fear is adorable. Women will respond. Sometimes we are strong and will want to drag you off to play arcade games and teach us how to dominate as immortal Necron overlords. Learn, adapt, accept, just go with it. This is going to get lost in the comments, but fuck it. I've actually only had one GF, but looking back could have probably had a couple more if I wasn't shy about expressing my feelings. Also looking back, kinda glad I was shy. They were all drama queens and or sluts who now have a history of cheating. But back on topic, my ex FML I've known since at least 6th grade. Over time she became one of my top 3 friends. We used to play a lot of checkers and chess. At first I was a little shy, but after a year I could talk to her about anything. Others around us took notice and mistaked us for couples years before we ever got together. Yes, years. So around October of our senior year, we were coming back home from an away football game, and we were in the band. We had both been in band since 6th grade, and over all these years we had both slowly developed feeling, but were both way too shy to talk about it. Anyway, there wasn't a lot of people on the bus, and it was dark. I saw her hand resting on the side. I decided to graze across her hand with my own, and if she pulled away, I would just play it off. I grazed it, and she didn't move, so I put my hand on hers, and then we ended up holding hands the hour back. Well, we were both too shy to mention it, but the next day we had competition. Well, same situation happened again, and we ended up holding hands again. We finally decided we would talk about it Monday at school. Well, we never really got a chance, and I asked her to be my girlfriend through a text I know balls of steel. She said yes. TL.dr. It took years. Fucking years. So I didn't get a girlfriend, so I can't say, but once in my Spanish class, I used to sit with one dude and two girls who I got along with. Every now and the after class, all four of us would go get coffee before heading back home. So I guess I got pretty well with one of the girls. Then, little by little, she started being more touchy and closer until one day she asked me, "When are you going to ask me out?" I would have asked her out right there on the spot, but I had many unresolved issues with myself that I basically just got cold feet and left. I kind of regret it every now and then. I'm too shy to approach girls, not to mention I've heard so many horror stories about women being constantly pestered by men that I have never made a first move in my life. That said, I'm currently married to a girl I met on the train. She came and sat down in the seat in front of me, then turned around to talk, and things took off from there. Basically, I just wait for a girl to make the first move and take it from there. Is it slow? Yes. Do you meet many girls? Number? Do I recommend it? Number. But it is what I did. I wish we'd had the internet and social media when I was young. It would have made things a lot easier. I'm generally not shy per se, but I certainly struggle to move beyond anything other than basic, pleasant conversation. I'm also rather introverted and don't drink at parties, so I'm rather lucky in what did happen. Otherwise, I'd probably be alone right now. Anyway, I met my current SO in primary school year 2, elementary school first grade for Americans. She had just moved across the country to London and started at the school. I volunteered to be her buddy for the week and show her around, introduce people at that sort of thing. We became great friends that year, but come the end of the school year, my parents moved me to another school. Fast forward to year 10, high school freshman, I think, age 15 to 16 anyway, and I bump into an old friend from my first primary school. We chat for a bit and reconnect on Facebook. A couple of months later, Facebook suggests my year 2 friend to me because the one I recently reconnected with is a mutual friend, and we listed the same primary school. We link up and get chatting, meet up with old friends together, etc., and about 5 months later, we decide to go out together. That was 7 years ago, and we're now living together with our daughter. Share your opinion in the comments and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss more stories.